Hello everyone. Today we will step into the world of economics as we dissect one of the most important economic indicators, GDP. By the end of this episode, you will understand this term in deep detail, from its versatile uses, how it is measured, the difference between the two types of GDP, and its flaws and plus points. So, GDP or Gross Domestic Product is a fundamental economic indicator that measures the total value of all final goods and services produced in a country during a specific time period. In this definition, there's one thing which is really important: the words final goods and services. The word final can also be replaced with the word finished. Finished goods and services mean that they have been produced and are ready to be sold. These goods have already moved through each of the steps within the production process to become the final product. Some examples of finished or final goods include cars, furniture, clothes, and smartphones. Now, GDP is measured using three primary methods: the outcome method, the expenditure method, and the income method. The outcome method calculates GDP by summing the value added at each stage of production. So, this includes the value of all final goods and services produced within the country. Now we come to the expenditure method. This method calculates GDP by summing up the total spending on goods and services in an economy. And this can include consumption, investment, government spending, and exports. Now we come to the final method, which is the income method. This calculates GDP by summing up all the incomes earned within the economy. All three of these methods are used to calculate the total GDP of a country. Now let's look at the two different types of GDP: nominal GDP and purchasing power parity GDP, also known as real GDP. Nominal GDP is measured at current market prices. Therefore, it does not account for differences in the cost of living or purchasing power between countries. On the other hand, real GDP adjusts for differences in the cost of living and purchasing power between countries, and also accounts for inflation, as it can distort the actual value of goods and services. It measures GDP based on the relative prices of goods and services in different countries, providing a more accurate comparison of economic output and living standards. Most economists use real GDP rather than nominal GDP to gauge economic well-being, because real GDP is not affected by changes in prices, so it reflects only changes in the amounts of being produced. Today, GDP has become one of the most popular economic tools to calculate the health of a country's economy. It serves as a primary indicator of a country's economic health and performance. It reflects the overall level of economic activity, growth, and productivity. It also allows for comparisons of economic performance between regions and countries. It helps identify trends, patterns, and disparities in economic growth and development. Governments actually use GDP to formulate economic policies. GDP has become a standardized metric used globally, leading to a consistent analysis. However, GDP is not the perfect tool to measure an economy. It has many flaws built inside its core. Firstly, it excludes all non-market transactions like household work and volunteer services and only counts in-market transactions. This can certainly cause an underestimation of economic activity. Next, GDP does not reflect the income distribution among the population, which is a very important measure to judge the health of a country's economy. Next, and perhaps the most dangerous flaw, is that GDP ignores environmental degradation. GDP growth often comes at the expense of environmental degradation. Activities that contribute to pollution, resource depletion, and ecological damage often boost GDP. Most activities that boost GDP growth have a horrible effect on the environment. In conclusion, gross domestic product serves as an important indicator of a country's economic health and performance, providing valuable insights for policymakers, businesses, and analysts. While GDP remains a fundamental economic tool, its shortcomings show the need to use it with alternative metrics and to promote sustainable development. That's it for this episode on GDP. Thank you for listening.